Hello, Crystal Palace. Welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub's Library Live Lunch. This is intended as a bit of fun, a bit of a break from the current situation, some entertainment, and maybe a way of finding out something new about Crystal Palace. So my guests today are Joe Brett and Matt Bailey, who are more commonly known locally as Brett and Bailey and found under normal circumstances in the Crystal Palace Food Market in Haynes Lane,
Palace.
selling gorgeous
Welcome
cakes
to the
and
Upper
sweet
Norwood
treats.
Library Hub's
So, Brett and Bailey,
Hello.
lovely to have
Thank
you.
you for
Thanks for
having us.
joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us a bit about where Brett and Bailey came from.
Well, we've been going for quite a long time now, haven't we?
We have. It's one of those things that kind of happened by accident because we've always been quite big on cooking, and we cook a lot for our friends. We used to have like a big Christmas party where we'd cook absolutely everything from scratch.
Wow.
And then about 7 years ago, we had the opportunity to do a Christmas market at the Alma. And we thought, people are telling us that they like our food, we'll give this a go. And that was kind of the beginning of it, really. We did two events there.
Two events there, and they both went well. One of them was brilliant. The second one absolutely chucked it down.
Oh no!
But by then we got the bug anyway, and it had taken us a lot of time to get to that point because I'd always fancied, having a food business, having a market stall. But it took me a long time to actually get into that mental zone, if you like, where I felt I could do it. Because there's two things. Firstly, we didn't know how to get started because we'd never done it before. Our backgrounds aren't in food, definitely not so.
Okay.
And secondly, if you're putting what you love out there and everyone hates it, isn't that going to be the most awful thing that could possibly happen? But thankfully, it was completely the opposite. We had some really great feedback from people. And after we'd done those couple of markets, we thought, maybe this is something we can continue.
So neither of you, your backgrounds are not actually initially in food.
No, not at all. We've not.
We're just enthusiasts.
Well, yeah, we've never been to catering college or worked in a bakery or a restaurant or anything like that. We are just self-taught enthusiasts that have become professionals.
Wow.
Yeah.
And tell us about the connection to Crystal Palace Food Market. How did that happen?
Well, I've been living in Crystal Palace since 2006. And Matt's actually from Sydenham, so from around the corner. Really, really local. And after we had our markets at the Alma, we started at the beginning of the next year, 2013, thinking, okay, let's see if we can find a regular pitch at a market somewhere. So we emailed quite a lot of the usual suspects, the established markets. And if they got back to us at all, they just went, oh no, we're inundated with cake businesses and you're brand new, we've never heard of you, so see you later, thanks for trying, but we're not bothered. So we spent quite a while thinking, not really sure how to get into it. And then I was just clicking around on Facebook one morning at my boring desk job, just being on Facebook instead, more important. And I found a group of people who were starting a market in Crystal Palace. And I said to Matt, well, we need to get our faces in front of them straight away because this could be a really, really good opportunity. So I just dropped them an email and they got back really quickly and said, would you like to come to one of our setup meetings for it? This was about in March, I think, March of 2013. And had a chat with them. Their ethos was very, very similar to ours. And they said, well, our first market's on the 11th of May and then you're in.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was as easy as that, really.
So I think we were the first trader to officially sign up to do it.
Yeah, we were.
Wow.
So we were keen. So being keen really pays off. It's all of that one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Brilliant. And what would you say your ethos is then? That aligns with Crystal Palace Food Market, obviously, but how would you define it?
It's just about having things that are really high quality, handmade, and made locally as well. I mean, over the market, when traders approach them, the first thing they think about is, what are they local? Because it's about the local economy, and obviously really, really local as well. So that one's no brainer. Secondly, they have a huge focus on organics as well, and so do we. So we were using a lot of organics. We've had to change a lot of our ingredients at the moment. And organic stuff's not quite as easy to come by as it was. But then we had a very, very organic focus as well, which we're looking to get back to. So they were the two main things, weren't they?
Yeah.
And also we wanted things to be, handmade, well made, and sold at a fair price as well, and something that was accessible for the community. So
we wow,
very well.
You do all those things.
We try.
Yeah. And how is Brett and Bailey organised and run? Is it your full-time jobs now?
It's full-time for me. It's been my full-time job for almost 3 years. It's like it's almost 3 years since I set foot in an office. And I was very, very lucky in that when I left, when we first started the business, I was using up all my annual leave to take Fridays off so I could bake for the market when we were there.
Wow. And
we were only at the market once, twice a month at the very beginning. There were other cake traders that were falling in and out as well. And then I took on a new job as a freelancer where I could do a 9-day fortnight and then do the market once a fortnight and take every Good Friday off. Then I went down to 3 days a week so I could do the market every week. And then we took the leap into going full time, which is a market every single Saturday at Crystal Palace. And on the Sundays, we'll do all the different markets in South East London. Well, that's what we were doing until about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And markets are still a thing.
Which leads me on very well to say, how are you operating now?
Well, I mean, when this all started, I think there was, there's an immediate fear that you go, oh, what can we do? Because we rely on being there, and there being like crowds of people who come to us regularly. It's like, well, even if we could do it, are people going to stop coming? Are we not really comfortable? Because it's one of those situations at the time where we didn't know as much, and people weren't really there weren't any kind of set guidelines for people to follow. It's like, well, what do we do? I think, the organisers of the market made the right decision and said, well, actually, for everyone's safety, we need to stop doing this for now.
Yeah, because it's such a small space. And even on the last market we did there, on that Saturday before the proper lockdown began, and we had socially distanced queues and all the stalls were spaced quite far apart, but it was quite a stressful day, I think, for everyone. But just because we didn't really know what was coming, and we were also very careful. But it is also such a small space as well, that market, especially in the car park bit where we are. It's really tight, and you can't really maintain that 2 meters distance on people. It's just not possible.
Yeah. So we thought, well, we already get orders for like birthday cakes and those kind of things. And we thought, well, maybe we'd capitalize on that. But what if we tried to do something on a Saturday where we deliver things by the slice? And we were kind of thinking, well, could we make this work? Because we'd have to do all the deliveries ourselves, obviously. So I think we spent an evening changing our online store as a bit of an experiment. Put it live on the Wednesday. Was it the Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, it was I think it was. It might have been. I can't remember. It was so long ago, 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I think it was a Wednesday afternoon,
and with a kind of a fairly.
It was a fairly modest amount of stock. It was about 2/3 of what we'd normally take to Crystal Palace on a Saturday.
Yeah.
We thought, well, we don't want to have loads of leftover stuff that we just can't do anything with.
Because I mean, we really hate having anything left over anyway.
Yeah.
We'd rather, someone have it than it have to go in the bin. Try and avoid at all costs.
Yeah.
So we put it live, and then we sold out in how long?
Oh, that was within 48 hours. We'd sold out of everything.
Yeah.
So we thought, oh wow, okay, let's see how this goes. So the following week we thought, well, let's make as much stock as we'd normally take to Crystal Palace on a Saturday, so the full amount. That all went in a day. And the following week we thought, well, let's just make as much as we can fit in the van, which is about 80% of what we'd normally do in a Saturday, Sunday. And that all went in about 4 hours.
Wow.
So so the response has been overwhelming, and we're very, very grateful, because after that last market at Crystal Palace, I was thinking, are we just going to have to put the business on hiatus for however long it takes? I mean, we're quite fortunate because all we would need to get back up and running is a few £100 for ingredients. And then we could start the ball rolling again, and then we got a cash flow back, and we could hopefully get back to some sort of semblance of what the business was previously.
Yeah.
But
so much better if you can keep it going, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't know if we were not going to be allowed to do food deliveries. We didn't know if that was going to be one of the conditions of the lockdown. In which case, I thought, well, do I, apply for jobs delivering groceries or something like that? Just to have some income coming in, because there wasn't any government support announced at the time either. So it wasn't a case of adapting because we thought it'd be a fun thing to do. It was out of necessity. Well, because like I said, this is my full-time job and it is my income.
Yeah.
And we certainly didn't want to have to leave the business in in that way after all the work that's gone into it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I don't think either of us expected the response that we've had, and it's we're so grateful to there are people who would come to us regularly at Crystallis Market who order from us almost every week, but new people who keep coming back as well, and it's we're so happy and grateful that people.
Yeah,
we can give a bit of, I suppose, comfort to people in a time like this, where
That's it. If we can give people a bit of comfort in this really horrible times, give me a bit of comfort and a bit of semblance of normality, and we're delighted that we're able to do that, and we're delighted that people are supporting us.
Well, I have to say, I did manage to organise myself to get in on Slice Saturday this weekend, and it really made my day. Absolutely gorgeous, and very, very helpful, actually, that you there was a list of all the different things and which were freezable, and that meant that it might actually last me the week rather than eating it in the space of 6 hours.
Well, we know that people aren't going to order from us every week, but by all means, put it in the freezer and have something for the following week.
Yeah, and not every household has got multiple people in it. Plenty of people live on their own. And I thought, well, you could get through 15 quid worth of cake in one sitting. I mean, I wouldn't blame you. Frankly, we don't judge here.
No.
But at the same time, we thought we want to be able to, because we are asking people to spend a £15 minimum to get the free delivery as well, which we think is fair.
Well, I think otherwise it would be impractical for us to do it.
Yeah, so we can't be bombing to Streatham and then to West Norwood and then to Thornton Heath just to deliver one cookie each. It's just not going to make sense for us, So we did want to make sure that when people order things from us, that it wasn't stuff that was then going to go to waste as well. That's really important.
Yeah. And it is really nice to have ordered a kind of a chunk of stuff, and actually it was very exciting getting it all out on the kitchen counter and seeing because I couldn't remember what I'd ordered, so it was very exciting. To then know also that there's a way of making it last for the week, and to really be able to enjoy it at whatever speed I wanted to go. I really appreciated that, actually.
Oh, great. Okay.
I think I had honey and pistachio cake and one of the cheesecakes, and they were both absolutely divine.
So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Glad to know they went to a good home.
Yeah, well, it definitely helps, and as you said, the just having that little bit of normality and sort of some sort of personal, not contact, that's totally the wrong word, but actually seeing somebody that you recognise in person makes a real difference at the moment, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the amount of doors open and I get a smiling face every time. People are really,
I'm sure,
happy to see the cake. Happy to see me. Happy to see the cake. So that's fine. So that, I mean, that's doing the market on a Saturday and Sunday. That's a huge part of my social life now as well, because I work from home all the time anyway. So lockdown's not that different to me because I'm always at home because we run the business from home. But when you're at the market stall, there will be all the regular customers who will stop for a chat for 5-10 minutes if you're not busy and what have you, and have a catch up with the people. And so to be able to see people at the doorstep and just say hello. I mean, I do kind of now say hello, but then I run away because I've got 65, 70 drops to do now. So I can't really linger, unfortunately. But it makes a difference to me as well to be able to see everyone.
It must be a huge effort, actually, this Saturday. It's bigger than normal.
The getting organised, so the challenge is getting everyone's orders right, because we usually have about 60, 65.
Yeah.
And there was a situation a couple of weeks ago. It was like we have an unaccounted for bun whose order is it in, and we had to go back through them all to make sure someone got their card or not.
Because can you imagine not having a card or not?
Yeah, so it's like 2 hours of solid concentration trying to get it ready to go in the van.
It's not 2, it's 3.
Yeah,
it's 3. By the time we're ready to start putting things in boxes, it's about 7:15 on Saturday morning, and then by the time we're in the car when I'm putting my foot down, then it's about 10:15.
Wow.
So it's about 3 hours of trying to get through. And that feels like you've done a market at the end of that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has condensed what we do as well, because it's just a Saturday service. And normally what would happen from the market is, I'd be up at 6:30, get everything ready, finish getting ready for the market, do the market all day, come back, clear up, back in the kitchen for maybe another 6 hours in the evening, and then go and do another market on a Sunday with all the buns that I'd made stuff the night before. But of course now it's, I haven't got anything to do on a Saturday night now. and I've got to work on a Sunday. But so
Don't get too
it's
used
the same
to
amount
it.
of work, but
Yeah.
it's just condensed into a much smaller window. So it is all the more.
And you're still doing whole cakes as well, aren't you, for people who want to get in touch and order them?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, previously we were asking for 3 days' notice. Where quite tiresomely we are now having to ask for 7 days' notice, because previously, if we just run out of an ingredient, we could just pop to the shops. So I can't go to Sainsbury's and just get the one thing that we're missing to be able to fulfill this order, and that's fine. Obviously, we can't do that now.
No.
So, and we're trying to do a bit, stay home and stay as much as possible. So we're getting now. So we now get a wholesale order once a week, and then a supermarket top-up order once a week as well, for things that we can't get wholesale. So generally, we'll need to know a week in advance. That gives us plenty of time to make sure we've got every single little thing in. Yeah. So order early and order often to avoid disappointment. Do order early.
Brilliant. And so actually that leads me on to ask if there are any sort of really all-time favourites. I mean, everything I've had from your stall has always been absolutely delicious. Are there any all-time kind of favourites that are consistently selling out all the time?
The cardinal knots, since we started doing them, which was originally a seasonal thing, now they're usually the first thing to go on the stall. And
I can't make enough. Literally haven't got time or space on the oven to make enough of them. And chocolate Guinness cake as well. That's been a long-term favourite.
But it's weird. Other things seem to go out of fashion. There's like there was a cake that would go every time we used to do it, which is an apple and salted caramel cake.
Made one today, actually.
Yeah, made one today. But for the first few years, that would be a bit like Guinness cake, be the first thing to go, and then people became a bit less.
I don't know. Maybe salted caramel just fell out of fashion.
Was a bit of a fashion at one point.
Yeah.
But I would say the cardinal knots, the sticky buns, the sticky buns we've always done.
Yeah.
People love a sticky bun.
But we have to say that we've been going for 7 years now. It was only in October last year where we finally found a roster of markets that really worked for us. Which meant that we could always gauge them pretty much every time, know exactly the right amount of stock to take, and only be left with, well, a couple of bits and pieces, crumbs at the end, really. Very, very little go to waste. So we're very, very fortunate that we have that roster of markets that we hope to get back to at some point in the future. When that'll be, we don't know. Yeah. But that was a lot of work. It didn't just happen overnight. We tried a lot of markets before, which didn't work for us before we found the ones that we have. And they're all now South East London as well, which is where we are, where we want to be. So it's perfect.
Perfect. Well, fingers crossed we can get back to it relatively soon.
I hope so.
Yeah. What do you do with the leftovers, just out of interest?
Well, do you know what? Generally, we don't really tend to have a lot. When we're the markets, we tend to swap them with other traders, bits and pieces. You must know Andy the butcher, so he's a big cake lover, and we think his meat is great as well. So there's always some swapping going on there. Awesome. And we'll swap things with Mags and Nick at Comfort and Joy, and a bit with Callum at Smoking Cure and what have you. So we don't really, come home with a lot at all. Of course, at the moment, because now everything is done to order, there's barely anything at all. We hold a couple of buns and cardinal knots back just in case there's damages, or if one of them comes out a bit wonky, we can just hold a couple of things back. But apart from that, everything gets sold really quickly. I mean, we put our the Saturday's menu goes up at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, and it's been tending to go out within a few hours. Yeah. So, and we are kind of working more or less at capacity as well, and making as much as we feasibly can without it being a stressful nightmare.
Yeah. Which would sort of partially defeat the point.
Yeah, exactly.
We literally cannot fit anything else in the van now. So there is a limit.
That's it. It's the same. So if people order a whole cake for Saturday, we have to phone up and say, would it be okay if we came on the Friday morning? Just because also we don't want to, if it's for a birthday on Saturday, you might not want it turning up at 4 o'clock at the end of the round. You might want it, as and when you want it. So it's no complaints on us to be so busy. It's been great. Yeah. This week has been the first week since we started Slice Saturdays where we've just had a little bit more time and the orders have got a little bit quieter. Not so many birthday cakes this week, so I've been able to catch up on doing some other production instead of my preserves and things. So it's, yeah. Good.
And then actually that leads me quite nicely on to just asking about the community, because I know you said you've been living here for a while, well, Sydenham all your life by the sound of it. So has running Brett and Bailey changed your connection with the Crystal Palace community?
We had no idea that there was such a community ethos in Crystal Palace before we started Brett and Bailey, I don't think. I mean, personally, I hadn't heard of the Transition Town movement at all, and I hadn't come across them. And through the Transition Town and through the market, we've been introduced to so many people and so many different groups. And I think there are, more and more have developed over time as well, over the past decade or so, certainly.
But I think for us is what's really nice is there's lots of other local food traders who, and I think to some extent, we're happy to support each other, and they're all people who are passionate about what they do, and similar to us, they've not necessarily come from a like professionally trained food background, but the fact we've got to get to know those people and make friends with them and be supportive of each other has been great. It's been a really fantastic experience.
We couldn't have done this. We couldn't have done this transition without them, really, because at the beginning of lockdown or just before, could you get an egg anywhere in London? No, you could not. No, you could not. And I was doing a wholesale order, and it's like, oh, we've got everything apart from your eggs. And it's like, well, they're kind of integral to what we do, the egg. Yeah. And so it was Andy from Comfort and Joy and said, do I have spare eggs? Come and have some eggs. So she helps out a couple of times, saved her skin. Chaz and Mum were helping us out with getting fresh yeast as well, and that kind of thing. So, did swapping bits of cake with them and what have you. But so we have had quite a lot of support from.
But that kind of support, I think, has always been there, and
yeah, absolutely.
It's a really nice. I think it's what makes the market special, is because I think we've been to some markets where it feels like there are other people competing with you, but it's never felt like that because for us it is very much kind of we're all working together to provide really nice quality food for local people,
and it's really run really personally as well.
Yeah,
because we're really good, such good friends with Calvin and Laura now who run the market, and we're such good friends with so many of the traders as well. I mean, so many markets we've been to, the organisers just you get a bench with your name on it, and nobody will speak to the other day. You just set yourself up and then pack stuff down and go without speaking to anyone involved with it at all. Whereas Crystal Palace, it was a hug and a kiss before the age of social distancing with pretty much all the traders, all the market managers and what have you, because it's a really, really friendly sort of community spirit, and we'll help each other out.
It's really lovely to know. It always feels like that from the other side, but it's lovely to know that it's like that from the traders.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I suppose that the most important question really is for everybody who's watching, who is now very, very hungry. How is best for them to get in touch? So we've got Slice Saturdays, and we've also got cakes for special occasions and things. So what is the best way for people to keep in touch or get in touch for specific things?
Well, we're on all the socials. So we're on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, just as Brett and Bailey, all one word. Our website is brettandbailey.co.uk. To order whole cakes, it's brettandbailey.co.uk/shop. And for Slice Saturdays, it's /Saturdays instead at the end.
Brilliant. Amazing.
So yeah.
So
I shall be getting on my order.
Excellent. That's all I'd say.
Thank you so much. It's really lovely to find out a bit more about your background and where you've come from. I had absolutely no idea that it was sort of passion that turned into a professional job. That's amazing. And you guys were so quick off the mark with shifting to deliveries and stuff. It's been really inspirational watching.
Yeah, well, I think we saw quite a lot of the local indie breweries moving to delivery quite quickly. Sort of Gypsy Hill, Ignition, Three Hounds in Clockhouse, because obviously, the pubs are shut and they've got all this beer they need to sell. And I thought, well, if they can do it, then maybe we can too. So we found inspiration from that.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's a more local inspiration,
Absolutely. Well, it's lovely that there is that kind of community where you can see what other people are doing and get support from it and get ideas from it and just take off. That's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and chatting to us.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Just to sideline slightly for everybody who's watching into the rest of the live streaming programme. So as I'm sure you know, the Upper Norwood Library Hub is doing a huge amount of live streaming. We put everything that we possibly can that would normally happen in the Library Hub onto Facebook as a live stream and onto YouTube. So please do check out what else we've got. We've got mindfulness and meditation, we've got yoga, we've got cross stitch, we've got singing classes, we've got talkioki this afternoon. Do jump on board, get involved with that. We have live music and all sorts of other things, so please do have a look and tune in when you can if there's something of interest. If there's something that you'd like that we don't have, get in touch and we'll see what we can do. And if you would like to help support the Library Hub beyond tuning in, which is really helpful, then have a look at the side of the video at the bottom of the description. There is information about how you can become a Library Hub supporter, which obviously we'd be very, very grateful for. And that's it from us for today. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of the day and get on with your Brett and Bailey's order, because you don't have very many hours before it will probably sell out.
Now, do it now, do it now.
Excellent. Thanks very much, guys. Lovely to chat to you.
Thanks a lot.
You too. Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good day, everybody.